Good morning, world from Singapore. I am Amar Aswani, your host for today for ARR Voices. This is our first episode of Talk Show, an humble attempt to reach to everyone on general life situations and learning processes for self growth and prosperous life as whole. We have three learned people on the show: Dr. Ram, Dr. Raji, and Mr. Arun, all accomplished in their professions and wish to contribute with their abundance knowledge. I shall introduce them one by one when I ask upon them. Today's topic is mindfulness. Mindfulness is a basic human ability to be fully present, aware of where we are and what we are doing, and not overly reactive or overwhelmed by what's going on around us. So, to start this topic, I would like to ask Dr. Ram. Dr. Ram, as an introduction, I would say that he is a biomedical scientist by profession, holding a PhD degree in animal science. He has received from Bharati Darshan University uh, contraceptive vaccine trial in animal model and 6 years of postdoctoral experiences in cancer and stem cell research areas. Currently, he is the founder and managing director of ACE International Private Limited, Singapore, offering business management and research innovation consultation services. Dr. Ram, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Amal, for your wonderful introduction about me. And thank you, my colleagues, Mr. Arun Sharma and Dr. Rajesh Srinivasan on stage. I'm very glad and honored to come in front of the screen to share the mindfulness. Usually the people, they are getting confused. For many ways, they are getting influenced through what they are hearing, what they are seeing, what they are realizing, and what they are reacting. So as per the conditions and situations, there are so many information around the places like social media or in the newspaper or any other TV channel. So there are a lot of things that are going to make the people in confused state. So by listening to these kind of eminent teachers or speakers who are delivering some kind of helpful talks may clear certain doubts and making them to go very smooth way on their situations, whether any hurdles or any challenges they are going through. So the today topic mindfulness is a great one, and I just want to share a little bit of that what I have learned about that. Hopefully the slides are visible now.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Mindfulness, as I already mentioned, it has a lot of jargons and acronyms as well as definitions. The people always they are getting some kind of confusion when they are hearing from many news or many situations. How do they able to manage the thing? Myself, Dr. B. Ramanathan, I am the founder and managing director of ACE International Private Limited, Singapore. And I am very much passionate about public speaking as well as providing consultation service for business firms, institute, industry partnership arrangements, and all. When we are going to explain the mindfulness, there are a lot of words, a lot of meaningful terms are coming into the picture. They are mediating for the mindset to make strong, or brainstorming experience who want to know better about the conditions, or they are getting inspired by the way of listening to certain things like reading books or listening to talks, or making more creativity in their mind how to react to the conditions. And it is also bringing up the talents, that is the intelligence performance of the people. So how do we define the mindful or mindful? When we are talking about the condition of the people, they are having a lot of feelings, a lot of memories, a lot of experiences, whether good or bad in their mindset. They are fulfilling with a lot of these kind of good effects as well as illful effects, or some kind of sickness status. But when we compare to the people who are very mindful, who are reacting to the reality, who are reacting to the situation in the current level, they are not strucking with the past experience, or they are not dreaming of with the futuristic things, and they forget to cope up very well with the current present situations. So mostly children are having the mindful status, wonderful mindful status. They are reacting towards with the current situation. They don't imagine for the futuristic thing, or they are not remembering about the past ill effects which are including their happiness. So the mindfulness, the quality or the state of being conscious or aware of something. That mindfulness of wider cinematic tradition. It is a kind of condition. How do they able to achieve or focus something, the awareness about the present situation or the present moment? That is acknowledging the happiness for them, making them the complete feelings to react and relate to the particular things. Nowadays, the mindfulness are wonderful thing. They are playing with the kind of therapeutic technique. How do they able to manage the thought process or some kind of sensation for their body performance, the mind, body, soul? So how to practice the mindfulness? We have to make ourselves realize the situation. We have to isolate and take a seat, set with some limited time. And how do we able to focus or notice the body sensations or the conditions? Feel your breathe, making a rhythmic kind of things. So it will make a calm down in your mind. Notice when your mind was wandered, you have to think and realize the condition of your mind. How do it reacts to the particular conditions? Be kind about your wandering mind, how to control it, how to feel the happiness inside you. That is the mindfulness you can bring and practice. We can able to make the quality of mindfulness in these four major things. Be with the presence, that is the wonderful thing. Focus, attentive towards with the conditions, and aware about the conditions. That is mainly you have to check and you have to notice the sensible things which are making you to awake and be an open-minded person. Kindness also very great performance when you are accepting or in a non-judgmental way. It is also creating a kind of condition for you to feel more kindful. Relaxation, getting relaxed or calm down, that is also one kind of way to rejuvenate your mind, body as well as soul. It is also making you to be easy on ongoing things. Mindfulness, we can able to congregate with the four major things: self-awareness, relationship management with the surrounding people, or social awareness, social cause, which are making the differences or any kind of deviations. You have to control your mind in an emotional way. That is the balance between the conditions, whether you are coping up well or you are overreacting to the conditions in emotional way. So that is also very important. Benefits of mindfulness. There are many terminologies here, but just I wanted to mention few things. It improves the relationship as well as satisfaction. The way the conditions to reduce the stress, or it is helps to make you to improve your body, mind, soul, the performance, how to control your emotion, and not to overreact or not to adversely affect your body. So there are many people who are finding many kind of ways. The healthy mind plater can explain little bit about that. How do you manage your time, the presence of the conditions, sleeping time, physical time, or focus on yourself with the current situations, or doing right things and making yourself playing the segments to play or work or something related to your personal accomplishments. So you have to characterize yourself. How do you able to make the healthy mind later to make something better brain functions or performance values? Mindful is the agile leadership. Leadership quality is the learning agility. So we have to focus on your objective and success pathways. How do you react to your achievements or ambitions to achieve the greatness, and choices of your thing? How do you think and act for the particular choices available? Action, what do you do Most of the people are failing with these kind of conditions. So we need to focus on what we can able to engage in the right place or right time or right conditions. Mindfulness, how you are reacting, how you are managing the circumstances, making more great attention. How do you notice the conditions are sensible things which are available in front of you? So hopefully all these things are making you to aware about the mindfulness, how to react, how to achieve the great things through your body, mind, body, soul. All the triangle map can able to provide the strength for you. Um, Good day to you all. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Dr. Ram. It was very, very descriptive, very, very eye-catching, and definitely, as I can understand that during few decades when we learned about time management, money management, body management, now in a nutshell, I can say that your presentation can be said as mind management, how we should check our mind and how we can improve our daily life with your tips and your suggestions. To put more light on the PPT that Dr. Ram presented, I would like to call upon Dr. Raji. Let me say something about Dr. Raji. Dr. Raji, she is the managing director and founder of Masters Academy of Speech and Training, Singapore, MAST, MAST in short. She trains students bilingually to do speeches, debates, webinars, research, paper presentations, etc. She has produced TV shows and also provides motivational speeches in Tamil and English. She is a bilingual and polyglot. So please welcome Dr. Raji. Dr. Raji, the stage is yours.
Thanks, Amar. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Arun Sharmaji and Dr. Ram and Amar for being here today to share the screen with us. Well, after what Dr. Ram said, I'm very sure the ground for what's being mindful is already laid clearly. I just want to ask you this question. Living from moment to moment, how does it sound to us all? Living from moment to moment, walking from moment to moment, moving from moment to moment. This one looks like a kind of, when I say like this, it sounds like a kind of a slow moving movie, maybe, or a kind of a slow camera, slow reaction. But actually, it's not that slow. When we talk about mindfulness, we just need to understand this. Living at the moment is called mindfulness. What is the point of being mindful at all, first of all? There's this intention to cultivate awareness of what we, as a single human being, are doing right now. We are aware of everything around us, but not about us. Mindfulness will eliminate this problem. And then attention to what's occurring, what's happening in the present moment. Like you sit like this and then you start watching like TV. TV watching is not new to us. We watch like whatever, we watch YouTube or whatever. We just observe thoughts, feelings, sensations, etc. as they arise. This is mindfulness. Doesn't it sound quite religious or spiritual to a person who is quite naive and who does not know anything about these things? Actually, for being mindful, you need not even be literate. You just sit and close your eyes, or maybe just sit and look around you to see and observe what's happening. This is the beginning of mindfulness. Oh, I understand. You think that I'm going to teach you a meditation technique. There is a meditation technique called mindfulness also. I'm not going into that. But what I'm trying to suggest is, it is a kind of a meditative state. You can work optimum. You can provide optimum results in everything you do. This is one of the side effects of mindfulness. You see, this moment by moment awareness, what does it do to us? It allows us to look at our own thoughts. It allows us to look at our own feelings, our own bodily sensations, and surrounding environment through a gentle, nurturing thing. You see, you have to understand this. Let's see like this. The moment, the moment someone thinks, oh my God, why am I being so, right now I'm angry. Right now I'm angry. Right now I'm picking up this pistol. Or right now I'm picking up this sword. Right now I'm doing this. To do what? The moment, for that less than a fraction of a second, I'm asking myself, I'm observing myself, oh my God, why did I feel like that? The moment I ask like this, I'm preventing a would-be crime, isn't it? You see, the moment that man, according to me, what he said triggers my anger, correct? So I have two choices. I have a choice of hitting that man and ending up in a jail, or I have the choice of walking away from that situation. I have the choice of just keeping quiet and moving away. So these are the beautiful choices that being mindful is going to offer to me. So this is just one example. I personally feel that if you examine around you, being mindful has the capacity to prevent many a crime, to prevent many a crime. See, repenting after the crime is being done is entirely another scenario. I'm not talking about that. Why go into the repentance? We have a minute, a second before committing the crime. You rewind and then see, oh my God, had I behaved like that at that particular moment, this would not have happened. We have thought like that about many things. We have scolded people, we have done many things like that. It is to take hold of that particular moment that we are proposing being mindfulness. You see, that mindful, the moment you say mindful, that means you are taking charge of your moment by moment task. Understand? No one else is going to do that for you. What? Physical work other people will do. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about being in charge of that particular moment. You have to be aware of which work to allot to whom. You should know about delegation also. Like your mind cannot be full of crap. You should know, okay, I'm having too many responsibilities. Let me delegate this to you, this to you. All these decisions can be made only by the person who has perfect understanding of that particular moment. Also, you see, we have been cheated by many people in the past that being multitasking was considered one of the best thing that should be done by all of us. Even I have done that, and I have scolded many a person. What is wrong with you? You are unable to do a multitasking. You know why? In the corporate world, multitasking has always been put higher up on the sky. But whereas mindfulness suggests otherwise. Do you know what is that? Do one thing at a time. That's all. Simple as that. What does it mean? Very simple. It doesn't mean that you don't do this and that. For example, you are brushing. When you're brushing, focus only on brushing, nothing else. Don't think, oh my God, after the brushing, I have to go and prepare coffee and do this and do that. No need. This is what is being mindful. I know I'm using very simple examples and analogies, but what I want you to understand is cultivating a kind of an intense awareness of what is happening to us at this present moment will allow us to observe thoughts, feelings, sensations as it arises. And this will allow us not to be judgmental. The moment we stop being judgmental, all problems are solved. Thank you very much for listening to this. Thank you.
Well said, Dr. Raji. The way you started, a moment, a moment, a moment. It reminded me of a quote that every by Amit Ray that every moment is auspicious. The thing that we are living, breathing now, and talking, we are blessed. So to take this to a higher level, I would like to call upon Mr. Arun Sharma to introduce Mr. Arun Sharma. He is a chartered accountant by profession, turned life coach, mentor. He became recently author for publishing his very useful book called Quote Unquote, and now turned philanthropist. He's the original founder of Gurukulam School in a place in Jharkhand, and also he has initiated a hospital for the poor. He is my mentor too. Would be honored to know his input on the sharing of Dr. Ram and Dr. Raji on mindfulness. Mr. Arun would like you to please take the stage.
If you are in the river, can you see the flow of the river? Can you realize what is the width of the river? Probably not. But if you come out on the banks of river, you come and stand at the bank of river, you can see the full river. Similarly, when you are in the mind, when you are in the mind, when you are flowing with the mind, when thoughts are arising and you are inside that mind, you are not mindful. Because you are inside the river. How can you realize the river? You cannot. So to understand the mind, you have to come out of the mind. You have to come out of the mind. Dada Gawand used the word beyond the mind. So you have to go beyond the mind. Of course, mindfulness is, there are many levels of mindfulness. This level of mindfulness which I'm talking about is the highest level of mindfulness. Being in the present is the starting point. And going beyond the mind is the last point. For instance, if you want to be a scientist, you want to be a researcher, what can you imagine? You can imagine whatever you have studied in your school, whatever you have studied in books, whatever you studied in college, whatever you have seen the world around. That's all. You can't go beyond that. Your mind will not go beyond that because your mind is limited to whatever mind has experienced. Now, if you want to be Einstein, go beyond the mind. Whatever you want to do, something new, something startling, something absurd, something amazing, you have to go beyond the mind. Because as long as you are within the mind, then I mean your school, college, television, internet, all that will prevail. Your mind is subjected to whatever you have learned in life. And most of the time, mind works on autopilot. Whatever we do in life, it's a very routine life. There's a pattern in our life. We get up, we get ready, we have our breakfast, we go to office, we do work at office and come back and all that. So that, that pattern goes on and on. So mind is used to a pattern. And when mind moves in a pattern, mind cannot do something startling, something revolutionary. People who have broken the pattern, they only do something amazing in life. Now coming back to the definition of Dr. Ram, when mind is full, you are not mindful. When mind is blank, you are mindful. So that is the starting level. Every yogi, every meditator will start at that level. That's why Lord Buddha spoke about breath awareness. When you are aware of your breath, anapanasati, inhalation you are watching, exhalation you are watching. If you are aware of that, you instantly become mindful. So that is the starting point. And Dada Gawand spoke about going beyond the mind. So there are various levels of mindfulness, we all understand. Basically, there are three aspects of mindfulness. One is awareness, one is acceptance, and one is attention. Now, awareness is mostly people understand awareness as concentration, but concentration and awareness are different. For instance, if I'm looking at the sun, I'm only looking at sun, all my energies are directed towards one object, and I'm not aware about anything else, then it is concentration. I'm not looking at anything else. I'm only focused on something. That is called concentration. But if I'm looking at the sunlight, if I'm aware of the sunlight all around me, that is awareness. So concentration is a stage before awareness, something before awareness. That's why both are important. In a Patanjali Yoga Sutra, they speak about concentration also, and they also speak about meditation also. And then after meditation also, there is sadhana. So sixth stage is concentration, seventh stage is meditation, and eighth stage is sadhana. So concentration is also required. If you want to flourish in your life, you must be competent in all departments of yoga. There are Ashtanga Yoga, 8-limb yoga. So we are talking about 6th and 7th. We are not talking about 8th, sadhana. So we have understood now that concentration is different and meditation is different. And when we talk about meditation colloquially, we mean awareness. We mean a meditative awareness. Normally, this is what we talk about. So we should have awareness, and the other is acceptance. Acceptance of what? Whatever situation you are in right now, you must accept that. If you have a headache or you're feeling hungry or whatever is going on with you, somebody insulted you right now, so you have to accept that. What can you do about it? If somebody has already insulted you, he has already insulted you. Now, what else can you do? Accept it. If you accept it, then you're in mindfulness. Of the three elements, one is awareness, one is acceptance. Another is attention. Attention to what? Attention to the present moment. As Dr. Raji correctly said, to the present moment. You see, life is like a garland. It's like a rosary bead. So that whole rosary bead, that mala, will turn around. But the present moment is here. The whole mala will go through this. You will experience every aspect of that rosary bead, the flower, but it has to pass through the present moment. All your life, you lived 100 years. Now, entire 100 years will be lived in the present moment, then present moment, then present moment, and that way it keeps happening, and you complete your 100 years of life. It's not that you will live 2021 right now. You can't live 2022 right now. You can't live 2020 right now. You can only live 2021 right now. Even if you will be alive till 2050, but still you will live moment by moment. The life you have to experience moment by moment. If you are not doing that, you may live in the future, then you are not mindful. You lose out the whole beauty of that awareness. Some people are attached to other aspects of life. But when you are mindful, what happens is it gives you natural happiness. You don't have to be artificial, or you don't have to be dependent upon certain objects to be happy. Mindfulness means you are in the moment, right? You are right in the moment. You are aware, you have accepted, and you are attentive. Once you follow all the three, then you are mindful. And mindfulness is a Western concept. It's a Western word. We had much before that, 2,500 years ago, Bhagwan Buddha spoke about anapanasati, breath awareness. Before that, Krishna spoke about mindfulness in Bhagavad Gita also. Now there he spoke about that you are not the doer, you are the witness. So that witness consciousness. Whatever is happening, you are watching it. You are the witness. You cannot change the external atmosphere, external world. If something has to happen, if a fan has to break and fall on my head, it will fall on my head. I cannot do anything about it. Whatever external world has to do, will do. What can change? I can only change myself. I cannot change anything else. Now, how can I change myself? If I am into mindfulness, then only I can change myself. If my mindfulness will not change the external world, but my mindfulness will change my world, my inside world. And when I change my internal world, I change the outer world. Because outer world is a reflection of my inner world. Yatha pinde tatha brahmande. Whatever is inside me, same is outside. So let us not try to control the outside world. If I try to control everybody around me, that won't happen. If I control myself, everything will fall in line. Everything will fall in place. If I'm only controlling the present moment, everything else will fall into line. The future will fall into line because the future will come through present. Future will come through present. Now, this beyond the mind, once again, let me harp upon it. All those yogis who have written something revolutionary, it is not that they learned from somewhere, they went to a professor, they did some courses and they could write that something startling. No, it is only when they went beyond the mind. For instance, I heard one of the speeches of Osho where he spoke that he read 140,000 books in his lifetime. 140,000, and that was his personal library, by the way. His personal library contained 140,000 books, and he had read all the books. And then in one of the speeches he says, I realize now that it was waste of time. Reading all those books was waste of time. Why does he say so? He's a philosopher of the century, and he says so. He says, I could have meditated those moments, I could have meditated. It is only when you go into meditation, you go beyond the mind, because books are within the mind. It is only whatever is written in the books you are acquiring. But then knowledge is much beyond that. Knowledge is not limited to whatever is taught in school, colleges. For instance, let me tell you, if somebody told you 50 years ago that someone in Singapore will hold a small gadget like this and do something on the gadget and he'll be able to talk somebody in London, you would have laughed. You would have said, oh, come on, I'm an educated person. Don't try to teach me all this. I'm an educated person. You see, the very fact you're educated and you think through your education, so you are limited to that education. That is the whole problem. So you have to go beyond the mind to be something extraordinary. Thank you very much. I could hear that alarm.
Thank you, Mr. Arun. Yeah, definitely. I set the alarm because we have a limited time resource and we have to cover this huge subject. And definitely, it's very enlightening to understand mindfulness with your expert info. Definitely breaking the pattern. Of course, the famous of the globe have definitely broke a pattern to be famous for what they have done. And I can sum up your speech that I like AAA battery, awareness, acceptance, and attention. And for me, in my personal life, I had a lot of acceptances. I had been insulted for many failures. So one aspect of A I have already gone through, and definitely awareness I'll have to learn upon, and attention. And yes, we have to understand ourselves to understand, then the world will understand us. That's the basic uh, nutshell of your comment. Uh, would like to invite anybody to add on to something, as we have a little more time to go on.
I just wanted to thank Arun Sharma ji because I was actually thinking of the same, but he expressed it well. Like mindfulness, the word may be new, and then we have imported it from English. But the state of mindfulness, it has been always advocated in India, at least, if as far as my knowledge is goes, in the scriptures and whatever, several thousands of years ago, it had always been there. And in the recent century, I have come across that living at the moment concept by Sadhguru Jaki Vasudev's programs. I have come across that term. First, when they introduced that term, I was thinking, what the hell? What is the big thing? Nothing what? If everybody knows this. But then I realized it's not that easy. Being at the moment, very easy to say. Try practicing it, most challenging thing to do. Because we are always used to wonder, not physically, mentally. You start doing a prayer, for example, for a 10 minutes prayer. First, first, maybe first second, your mind is there. From second onwards, you keep thinking, who's the guy who is calling us the phone? Someone is pressing the calling bell. And how long am I doing it? Probably it's too late. I just remembered that I have to send an email. All these things only within the 10 minutes. Once the 10 minutes is over, all these thoughts stop coming into our mind. Why? Because that moment only we are thinking what's happening. This we can shift it to a positive scenario, and then we can benefit by that. As Dr. Ram rightly said, it's quite easy for children because they don't care about keeping that part of the chocolate inside the fridge like their mom. You give them a chocolate, they want to eat the entire thing at the moment and relish at the moment. Whether the teeth goes something off or fever coming or fridge not working is not their problem. But that is a very good attitude for an adult to adopt, simply because it will allow us to escape from a lot of baggage, which most of us have. Thanks.
Very correctly said, Dr. Raji. Children, yeah, they are the teachers. When I see my kid doing whatever he wants, gives me a understanding that we have to learn a lot from children. They live the moment, and that is why growth is always there in them. They they are aware of the moment. They accept what is going on, and they are so attentive for everything. They have all the 3 years in them. So whenever you see a primary school kid, try to observe them for some time. You will definitely get a hint of how to cope up whatever problem is coming to your mind. So definitely nature and children are the best examples for living the moment. Dr. Ram, would you like to add on anything on what Dr. Raji just said?
Yeah, of course, it is true. As of now, it is the complex world. The people mindset or the people anxiety as well as the reactiveness towards any happenings or any situations, they are mostly getting confused. They're not very much focused what to do with their current present scenario. Either the way the past experiences made certain kind of bitter or something unwanted memories in their mind. They could not able to, because already he also mentioned about that mindfulness. It's completely occupied your mind. There is no space or there is no anything available for you to nourish and cherish well. So there are people who are having the mindset of the childish behaviors or childish mindset. They don't care. they are feeling very happy and they are enjoying the moment as such. It is not making them to go with the past or thinking about the future aspects. They are going along with the flow. They are going along with the conditions, which are positive or negative. They are coping up very well because they don't feel anything in the great manner or making them very complex manner to achieve the great things. Because when you are forcefully reacting or forcefully managing anything, it won't work. So we have to go very smooth way, how to handle, how to make it possible for you to retain the happiness, the values forever. So that is the way we have to, but we need to practice. We need to learn and practice, and we have to engage in our day-to-day activities. That only can bring the strength for us to overcome. Thank you.
Yes, Dr. Ram, your input on this reminds me of the people who complain about their jobs, especially the people who are working for the bosses. They keep complaining about the boss's character, but instead they should be focused on the job on hand. They are confused with the character, but the prioritization in the mind, the ba- the boss, of course, every boss is a villain in any employee's mind, but focusing on the job should be the first priority. So, uh, Mr. Arun, we have few more minutes. So, would you like to give a conclusion?
There are two kinds of living. One is intellectual living and one is intuitive living. When you are in the mind, you are leading an intellectual life, intellectual living. And when you're out of the mind, then you are leading intuitive life. So I urge upon everyone an intuitive life. You need intellectual life for sometimes. If you are a researcher in the laboratory, you will need your intellect. For certain coding, you will need intellect. For certain business decisions, you might need intellect. But then usage of intellect is very limited. It could be probably maximum 3 to 4% or 5% in your life. Most of the time, for instance, at home in relationship, if you apply your intellect, the relationship will spoil. You cannot apply logic in relationship. Oh, she does not love me. Why should I love her? No, this is no logic. You cannot work. My children do not respect me. Why should I get gifts for them? All this logic will not work. You have to be intuitive. So I request everyone that let us do that trial in our life. Let us break all the patterns. Uh, and every when we say we live in the moment, that means every day is a new day for you. Don't keep the baggage of past in today. Yesterday somebody insulted you. Now you start afresh today. You be the same. The moment, if you remember that somebody insulted you, that means you are carrying the baggage of past. So you should not carry the baggage of past. I urge all of us to be intuitive. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. To sum up the show, I would like to just say Dr. Ram gave us a very beautiful PPT presentation. The crux, delete the extra L from full, just FUL, no FULL. Just delete that extra L. Dr. Raji, highlight, live the moment. Just live the moment. And Mr. Arun, as rightly said, the AAA, awareness, acceptance, and attention. So with this single L, living the moment, and AAA, I wish you a great week ahead. Till the next time we come with a new great subject next week. Thank you. Signing off.